here from beautiful Sacramento, California at 12 p.m. Gonna try to be consistent every Wednesday, at least every Wednesday. Okay, I put out a Q&A questions on our Instagram story, both on the basketball zone, which is doing very well, by the way. Thank you guys so much for all the support. We've surpassed 9,300 followers, almost at 9,400. Our impressions are off the roof right now, which is great. We're working very hard and provide all NBA content on Basketball Zone Official on Instagram and on Facebook. We put the question out on Cowbell Kingdom as well. We got some questions there. We'll get to that. But let's talk about the Disney World NBA bubble. Lots of details, lots of dates. The biggest detail that stood out to me yesterday was that players and team staff will be given the option to use a wearable ring that tracks the heart rate, respiration rate, and other variables. The device features an illness probability score that indicates a player might be at greater risk of contracting the coronavirus or may have it. That is insane. I mean, the first thing that crossed my mind was, well, this is exactly what both Jack Crawford and I talked about a few months ago when I had him on the podcast, talking about artificial intelligence. And we got into a little bit of the potential of having information, right? Where say De'Aaron Fox is coming down at you, or Zion Williamson is coming down at you in transition. You're going to have a headset on. You're going to know what their heart rate is at. Like, you're going to have all these intricate information that can help you win or lose games. And when I thought about that, I was like, man, the future's here, right? But then Zach Lowe reported team staff will not have any access to player data from the wearable ring should any player actually choose to wear it, aside from instances in which the illness probability score triggers a further medical review. So it's not there yet in terms of everyone's going to have it. Everyone will have your information. Because at the end of the day, right, you have to think about the consequences and the privacy laws when it comes to putting out your medical records out there. And I think it's going to come down to, everything's going to be public, a lot like it is now, right? There were some players who did not appreciate being reported that they had COVID-19. Some players didn't care. So you understand the human side of things, and hopefully those players feel okay coming into this bubble, because there are a lot of remorse right now, and there is some speculation, according to some other reports, where Kyrie Irving is leading the charge. A lot of people have spoken up about it. I would say it's split in terms of the public. Look, I understand the racial injustices that have gone on for 400 plus years in our African American community. And I understand what Kyrie, Avery Bradley, Dwight Howard, at least the ones that have publicly said some things, I understand their point of view. Now, the other point of view is Adam Silver coming out and saying, if they choose to make a choice not to play in the NBA and think they can do more dealing directly with social issues, I respect that. And that's on the possibility of players sitting out the rest of the season. Now, I'm with Adam Silver, and there are so many ways where, if you look at it from a different point of view, that you can make social change. So my thing was, and I've stood by this since the Kyrie Irving news came out, was, okay, you're going to have this centralized hub where most of the world will be watching. The NBA is a global sport, and especially now with some sports are coming back, right? The Spaniard soccer league came back. The German league has been out. You can have the centralized hub, and all eyes will be on it. So why not have a strategy to bring more awareness and get more leaders together to make change? That's essentially what we all want, to make change, to reform this broken system that we do have. And I'll get into that potentially on a different podcast. But if you guys call in, which you guys can call in, the lines are open. We can discuss that as well. I love having open dialogue about it, and I'm always open to talk about social issues. So I understand what Adam Silver's saying. I understand what Kyrie is saying, but I just feel like you can make more differences if you return to the NBA. But that's just my point of view, though. I feel like these players can use these platforms. They already use their platforms because they're so big. But imagine the entire world just watching everything you do and you being the pioneers of social reform. I think it's the right thing to do if you do return. But again, I understand what Avery Bradley's saying. It's a tough thing, man. I mean, I'm sensitive to both, um, and I can see it going both ways. But my gut tells me that players will want to play. That the vast majority of players want to play because there have been other players who have been outspoken about this, and I just feel like the NBA will return on its set day of July 30th. Okay, so let's talk about. Oh, first of all, how's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Hopefully, well. Um, One of the other news was that we're gonna have some scrimmages. Let me check real fast. So teams will play 3 scrimmage games from July 22nd to the 29th. People are asking, hey, are these going to be televised? We don't know yet. The details aren't out yet. I'm sure they will be. I don't see why they wouldn't be televised. That'd be pretty silly. More ratings, more money, more advertisement money. That would make complete sense. And I like the idea of having 3 scrimmages game because it's going to get your feet under you and it's going to prepare you for a very intense 8 games that will determine a playoff spot or determine playoff seedings. So I like that. I like that little addition to this entire restart of the NBA, like a mini preseason type thing. So we'll see what happens there. We'll keep you guys updated on that. Let's talk about the Disney World bubble. The Disney World bubble essentially is players. It's going to have a players only line. Well, first of all, it's broken up into 3 different hotels. Um, and those hotels, and it's broken up into records, right? And the 3 hotels is the Grand Destino, the Grand Floridan, and the Yacht Club. At the Grand Destino, it has the best of the best, right, in terms of records. And in terms of teams, I mean, they've been the best, the most consistent all season long. So the Milwaukee Bucks, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Toronto Raptors, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Boston Celtics, the Denver Nuggets, the Utah Jazz, and the Miami Heat. That's 8 teams, okay? In the second hotel, we have the Grand Floridian, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Houston Rockets, the Indiana Pacers, the Dallas Mavericks, the Brooklyn Nets, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Orlando Magic, and in the Yacht Club, we have the Blazers, the Kings, the Pelicans, the Spurs, the Suns, and the Wizards. Now, what does that mean? Is one hotel better than the other? Well, from people that I've spoken to, I feel like all hotels are pretty nice. And if you look at the images, it seems like the Yacht Club, which has the worst teams, is pretty damn nice. It's pretty nice. So I just feel like they're just categorizing teams in terms of records, not so much of, oh, this hotel is better than your hotel. So that's what I think about that. But what does this mean in terms of tampering? You have to think that there will be a lot of tampering going on, especially with the Lakers and LeBron and his notorious history of this. You have the Clippers there, the Celtics, the Nuggets, the Jazz, the Heat, all in one hotel, being in this bubble where you're gonna see each other. You may develop strong friendships for future hint hint wink wink Magic Johnson type things, right, where a certain player may not have really known you as a person, but you're gonna get to know each other with all this time being together. Very important to note, okay? The Bucks, Lakers, Raptors, Clippers, Celtics, Nuggets, Jazz, Heat. Very, very important. And it could have a lot of implications. Trust me, it could have a lot of implications in free agency and in trades. A lot. A lot. uh, the other thing, right, is players only lounge, video games, gambling, barbers, nail salon. They're gonna take care of them, right? From an entertainment standpoint, movies, games, NBA 2K, DJ sets, etc. 24-hour VIP concierge. Players can attend other games. Again, players can attend other games that has a summer league vibe to it with the best of the best in the centralized hub. That's going to be huge. That's very interesting to me as well. So players attending games. Hey, if you don't think that's tampering, or if you don't think some tampering will be going on, then I don't know what you're thinking, because I see a lot of tampering going on there. What's up, brother? LA Lakers 24 Kobe. He says, I think the NBA should not return the season because players might get sick. Now, that's a valid concern, and I respect it. I respect your concern. I just don't really agree with it, because at the end of the day, you can get sick going to the grocery store where there is hundreds of people all the time, and there are hundreds of people who go in and out all day long. So I just I just see that the the things that the NBA is doing to keep their players safe from COVID-19 is very impressive. And I have faith in what the NBA will do, because you know that they're talking to the higher ups in terms of the scientific medical professionals up there, and they have all this information gathered, and they have up to July, well, up to July, I would say mid-July, to get this all cleared up. I think July 24th is a date where players decide to come back or not. Will there be implications of players? So the thing is, if players feel like they'll get sick, they won't get deducted in pay. So if they don't want to come back because of those exact reasons, then they'll be fine. Which again, it's pretty easy to say, well, I don't want to play. I feel like I'm gonna get sick. I don't want to expose my family. Those are all valid reasons to not come back and play basketball. At the end of the day, it's a game, and your family is much more important. So I definitely understand your point of view, and I'm extremely conscientious about it. I just don't agree with it. Again, you're going to be in a centralized hub, in a big bubble. And I just feel like, especially with them checking your temperature at all times and just checking in on you, that there's a higher risk of you getting sick elsewhere, is how I feel about it, because of all the things that the NBA is doing. You guys can definitely call in the show. The number is 209-565-3079. Again, that's 209-565-3079. Now, we've given you some dates on some things. Let's give you more dates, right? Let's give you more dates. So, the NBA restart dates, July 30th through August 14th, we have the seeding games, which is the 8 games. Very critical 8 games. From August 15th through the 16th, we have the play-in tournament. Now, again, what the rules is, say the Pelicans or the Kings are 3.5 games out of the 8th spot. There is a 2-game tournament, right? those teams, the Kings or the Pelicans, if they finish in ninth, they have to beat the eighth team, which will probably be the Grizzlies. They have to beat them twice. Now, if the Grizzlies beats them once, that's all they need to clinch the eighth spot. So it's in favor of the current eighth seed of the Western Conference playoffs, and that's the Memphis Grizzlies. So again, whoever gets the ninth spot, and if they're within 3.5 games, or is it 4 games, they will get a chance to make that 8 seed by doing a play-in tournament. Okay, and in that play-in tournament, you have to beat the 8 seed, the Memphis Grizzlies most likely, twice. If the Grizzlies beat you once, then they clinch that spot. Hope that makes sense. Okay, and that's August 15th through August 16th. August 30th, families arrive. Right? Sorry, August 17th, the playoff starts. August 30th, families arrive. August 31st through September 13th, the conference finals will be going on. And then from September 15th through September 28th, the conference finals will be going on. So conference semifinals from August 31st through September 13th. Then September 15th through September 28th, conference finals. So the Eastern and Western Conference finals. And September 30th through October 13th, we have the NBA finals. Now, you may be asking, well, October 13th, when are they going to start the next season? They're supposed to start the following season now in December. So December 1st, which I've said from the very beginning, the NBA should be starting their season in December. I would have said December 25th. So make it this grandiose start to an NBA year on Christmas Day. The whole world will be watching. By that time, we have NFL playoff seedings already pretty much set. So the NFL has dominated September, October, November since the light of dawn, right? Why not start the NBA season where all eyeballs and most eyeballs start watching basketball regardless in December, in late December? They're going to start it in early December, the 1st of December, but I would have started it a little bit later, but I'm okay with December because now we have the season prolonged into June and July for a long time. Hence, if we don't have another pandemic or another shutdown where things can get, a little bit wild like they have been all year in 2020. But if this is the new wave of basketball starting in December, I like it. It just makes complete sense to me. It's typically how the basketball works anyway, because if you look at the high school ranks, you don't start until like late December or even January. So it's like the winter thing to do, and most of the time you start in October, November. They've been starting a lot earlier the past few years, so that's what I think about that. LA Lakers Kobe Bryant says, why are teams staying in the same hotels? I don't like that. All right, so I covered that part already about the hotel situation. Now I'm going to read off some questions, right? I've gone over the dates. I've gone over some of the things Kyrie has said, and some players like John Wall saying that if I was playing, I wouldn't want to go to it. To be honest, I just don't feel like it's safe. And a lot of these players that are saying these things, publicly at least, are players that won't be playing anyways. So I don't take much validation to what those guys have to say, because at the end of the day, they're not going to play because of injuries. And that's what I feel, okay? So let's look at what some of the questions. I'll highlight a few questions. So the first one says, what from Tyson Warren 6243? What's up, brother? What are your top 5 players at every position? Now this is tough because I rather answer who is my top 5 players in general. But if you want to go by position, I'm gonna have to cheat a little bit in terms of the forward spots. So I'll go Steph Curry number 1. My favorite point guard is Damian Lillard, but I have to give it to Steph Curry. Best point guard in the game, best shooter in history. And number 2, I got to go James Harden, if you consider him a shooting guard, although he's pretty much a point guard in my eyes. So I'll go James Harden at shooting guard, at small forward, and power forward. I'm just gonna go Giannis and LeBron James, without question. So, and I know some people may not consider those guys power forwards, but in reality, they do play a lot of power forward. So yeah, Giannis and LeBron, and then at the center, it just depends. I mean, do you consider AD a center? I do. He's been playing his most minutes at power forward. So again, this is where things get tricky, right? Because of where guys play. And you got Kawhi Leonard there, man, where it's like, man, how can you leave him out? Again, if you go top 5 players, it's a different conversation. But because you're asking me top 5 players at their positions, then it's a little bit different. So at center is between AD and Joker, honestly. But if you go by the definition of center, then I would have to go Nikola Jokic, the Joker, who's lost a ton of weight, by the way. I don't know if you guys have seen his remarkable change. It's been insane, very very crazy to see how much weight he's lost. Will that help him? Who knows? That could hurt him because a lot of his magic is that he's so strong down in the post, and even though he may look like a sloth at times, the dude is he's a beast. So, second question: would you rather ride a bike, ride a horse, or drive a car? I rather drive a car because I liked my AC. To be honest with you, but I would say riding a horse would be second, and then riding a bike. I like riding bikes. Talking about bikes right now, I feel like they're sold out everywhere. So you could make a lot of money if you have bikes. If you have leftover bikes from I don't know how long, like people are buying things and people are desperate for bikes. So that was Isaias Hugo on Instagram. Let me see. Another one is from Big Dev 25. Could you do commentary for the Kings? And I think what you're trying to ask is, could I replace Grant Napier? And the answer is no. That's not what I do. I don't do play-by-play. Um, I I respect the time and the commitment and the 30 plus years Grant Napier gave to the Sacramento Kings fan base, to the Sacramento Kings organization. And I'll never have anything bad to say because in his profession, he's one of the best to ever do it, without question, in my mind. Like, I will always think about his catchphrases and how I grew up, essentially, idolizing that aspect of his life, his profession, right? And I'll for sure get into the whole Grant thing on a different day on a more personal notice. So, but no, I would not be able to do play by play. That's not what I do. I've never done it. So I don't have any experience in that field and in that area of our industry. And then Will Fix says, who will win the finals this year? That's a tough one. But if I had to put money on it, I would go with the LA Clippers with all this time off. And again, it's very dangerous because if you guys listen to my podcast with Dr. Z, his biggest concern isn't the virus, even though it is a concern, but his biggest concern is when you return, that players could potentially face a lot of different injuries. It's just hard for the body to restart. We're not machines, even though we may train like a machine. The thing is, when you play at such a high level and you play with such intensity, and it's going to require a lot of intensity to play 8 very important games, and then the playoffs, that could face a lot of ramifications of injuries. And it's unfortunate, but it's the conditions that we have to play with, right? So it's tough, man. It's like I want to say the Clippers. I feel like the Clippers and the Bucks were my 2 finals teams before the year started. I feel like it's going to happen regardless, but injuries could play a big part in this. And we know that Paul George gets injured. We know that Kawhi is on load management. Giannis is very tough, so I'm not really concerned about him. So if any of the big two are missing for the Clippers, that changes the complexity of the team, and that's going to change the outcome of them making it to the finals. It's really that simple. So if they can stay healthy, I would have the Clippers and the Bucks, and if both teams are healthy, then I would have the Bucks winning the NBA championship. I would have the Bucks winning the championship. That's what I think. The Lakers will be right there, no doubt. You still got the Nuggets. The Jazz, I think, won't be as strong as I thought they would, only because Bojan Bogdanovic is out. That's going to hurt them a lot. I don't see how they replace him at all. There's just no other player that can do the things that he can do. So the Jazz, to me, are going to be eliminated probably in the first round, to be honest with you. OKC is a good team, but, I don't really see them. The Raptors are a solid team. They're going to give all teams trouble. Reigning NBA champions. I do put some respect on their names. I know a lot of Raptor fans get mad when their team is not mentioned, but I'm mentioning them now because that is the best defensive team I've seen in a long time. Watching them live, which was the last game that I covered when they played the Kings in Sacramento, I was so impressed. I left so impressed. I was like, my gosh, their defense alone will keep you in games and give you a chance. And at the end of the day, all you need is a chance. So that Raptors team is very dangerous. The Celtics team has so much talent. Again, they have so much talent, but will they put it together when it's all said and done? And then the Sixers may be the most talented team, but then I don't trust Ben Simmons to really be big in big moments because he doesn't want to shoot the ball. And then Joel Embiid is always injured, so it's tough. And then you really can't sleep on the Heat. It was well coached, phenomenal organization. Man, the East is gonna be fun. The East is gonna be fun. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, this Q&A. If you highlighted, awesome. Keep them coming. Keep the questions coming. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Make sure to listen to the show on iTunes. We really appreciate if you guys can leave us a review on iTunes. If you listen to this on Spotify, there isn't like a review system on Spotify as of yet. So, but we just really appreciate if you guys can support the audio version of our platform. We really want to grow it. So, but I also understand that we need to be consistent and just have a time for you guys to tune in. I've been so sporadic that you guys don't really know when I'm going to tune in, when I'm not. So definitely 12 p.m. does work for me in my schedule right now. Again, thank you guys so much for all the support. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to slap a like button and share with your NBA community. And I'll see you guys on the next one.